There is a fascinating parallel between the story of Savitri and Satyavan from Hindu mythology and the Greek myth of Orpheus and Eurydice. Both stories revolve around love, loss, and a journey to reclaim a loved one from death. While Savitri succeeded in bringing Satyavan back to life, Orpheus tragically lost Eurydice. The stories hold powerful lessons for us all. Stay with me till the end because I have got 5 profound insights from these tales that can truly make a difference in our lives. Let me first tell you the story of Savitri and Satyavan. Savitri was a princess of great beauty and intellect. When it was time for her to marry, she chose Satyavan, a kind-hearted but impoverished prince living in exile with his blind father. There was only one problem. Satyavan was destined to die exactly 1 year from the day of their marriage. Despite warnings from sages and even her father, Savitri was unwavering in her love and determination to marry him. As the fateful day approached, Savitri prepared herself with prayers, meditation, and fasting. She was ready for what lay ahead. On the day of his death, Satyavan went into the forest to chop wood, and Savitri accompanied him. As Satyavan worked, he suddenly grew weak and collapsed. Savitri cradled him in her arms as his spirit left his body. Yam, the god of death, came to claim Satyavan's soul, but Savitri, with her intelligence and devotion, was not going to let her husband go so easily. So Savitri followed Yam as he carried Satyavan's soul. Yam, impressed by her courage and devotion, tried to dissuade her. But Savitri, she was wise and eloquent, engaged him in a profound conversation about dharma, love, and the power of devoted wife. Her words struck a chord, and Yam offered her a boon. Anything but Satyavan's life. What a catch! But Savitri cleverly asked for her father-in-law's eyesight to be restored and his kingdom to be returned. Yam granted this wish. She then asked for her own wish to be the mother of 100 sons. Yam again agreed, but Savitri pointed out that this would be impossible without Satyavan. Trapped by his own promise, Yam smiled and restored Satyavan's life. The couple returned to their family and everything fell into place. Satyavan's father regained his sight, the kingdom was restored, and they lived a long, happy life. Now let's go to the Greek myth of Orpheus and Eurydice. Orpheus was the son of the muse of Calliope, but what this means is beautiful voiced, and either a Thracian king of Apollo. He was a gifted musician whose music could charm all living things and even inanimate objects. He fell deeply in love with the beautiful Eurydice, and they were married. However, their happiness was short-lived. Soon after their wedding, Eurydice was bitten by a venomous snake and died, descending to the underworld. Orpheus was heartbroken. He decided to journey to the underworld to bring her back. The only thing he carried with himself is his lyre. He played such enchanting music that it softened the hearts of Hades and Persephone, the rulers of the underworld. They agreed to let Eurydice return to the land of living on one condition. Orpheus must not look back at her until they both had reached the surface. As they ascended, Orpheus was overcome with doubt and longing, and under the sway of these emotions, he turned back to ensure Eurydice was following him. Tragically, this broke the condition of their agreement, and Eurydice was pulled back into the underworld forever. Orpheus was devastated. He spent the rest of his life wandering and playing mournful music and eventually met a tragic end himself. Now let's compare Satyavan and Savitri's story with the story of Orpheus and Eurydice. The stories of Orpheus and Eurydice from Greek literature and Savitri and Satyavan from Bharat both explore themes of love, death, and the soul's journey, but they differ significantly in their spiritual lessons and outcomes. Now, let me share the comparison that I could draw the comparison of the spiritual lessons. So, let's go to the first one. In my doc, I have titled it Love's Power Over Death. Orpheus and Eurydice. Now, in this case, Orpheus' love for Eurydice drives him to the underworld to reclaim her. However, his love, though powerful, is tinged with doubt and attachment, ultimately leading to failure. His inability to let go of his fear and longing becomes his downfall. What's the lesson? Love must be paired with trust and surrender. Fear and doubt can disrupt even the deepest bonds. Now let's go to the Savitri and Satyavan. Savitri's love for Satyavan is unwavering and rooted in selflessness, faith, and inner strength. Her spiritual resolve and intelligence enable her to outwit Yam, the god of death, and bring Satyavan back to life. What's the lesson? That true love combined with faith, selflessness, and spiritual strength can overcome even the greatest obstacles, including death. And the second lesson is about trust and faith. Orpheus and Eurydice, what happens in this case is that Orpheus fails to trust in the divine condition imposed by Hades and Persephone. His lack of faith leads him to turn back. And what happens? He loses Eurydice forever. So, the lesson is faith and surrender to divine will are essential for spiritual progress. In case of Savitri and Satyavan, Savitri demonstrates absolute faith in her love and spiritual convictions. Even when Yam refuses to release Satyavan, she does not waver. Her steadfastness allows her to triumph. So, the lesson is that faith in oneself and the divine is a powerful force that can guide one through the darkest moments. And the third lesson is about detachment and acceptance. Orpheus struggles with attachment and cannot let go of his longing for Eurydice. His clinging leads to his suffering and her ultimate loss. Spiritual liberation requires detachment and acceptance of divine law, is the lesson. While Savitri is deeply attached to Satyavan, her love is selfless and rooted in dharma, righteousness. She accepts Yama's condition and uses her wisdom and inner strength to achieve her goal without violating spiritual laws. So, detachment does not mean lack of love. It means acting with clarity, purpose, and alignment with divine will. This is the lesson we need to learn. Now let's go to the fourth lesson, the role of inner strength and spiritual practice. Orpheus relies on the external power of his music to move the gods, but lacks the inner strength to overcome his doubts. His journey is ultimately incomplete because he does not transform internally. So what's the lesson? That external talents and actions are insufficient without inner spiritual growth and discipline. Savitri's victory is a result of her inner strength, intense spiritual practice, and unwavering resolve. She undergoes penance, mental preparation, and uses her wisdom to negotiate with Yam. So, the lesson we need to learn is that inner discipline, self-realization, and spiritual wisdom are the keys to overcoming even the most insurmountable challenges. And the last lesson is the nature of divine will. The gods impose a condition that Orpheus must trust in, but his failure to do so reflects the human tendency to resist divine will. The story emphasizes the consequences of trying to control outcomes beyond one's spiritual readiness. The lesson for us is that aligning with divine will requires humility and surrender, not control. Savitri does not defy divine will, but works within its framework, appealing to Yam's sense of dharma and compassion. Her actions show a deep understanding of the cosmic order. And the lesson we can learn is that working in harmony with divine laws allows for transformation and victory over fate. So both stories emphasize the power of love and the challenges of facing death, but they differ in their spiritual lessons. Orpheus' tale is a cautionary one, highlighting the dangers of doubt, attachment, and impatience, while Savitri's story is an inspiring example of how faith, inner strength, and alignment with divine will can transcend even the greatest challenges. Together, these myths remind us that love is not just a personal emotion, but a profound spiritual force, capable of transforming and transcending the limitations of the material world when guided by wisdom and surrender. I hope you like this story. Do leave some comments.